Got the countdown. Oh, snap. That means ropes is going down. Let's get it. When wrestlers call themselves the Terminator, that's an insult. Seriously, an insult. Especially to my live guest on the ropes Wednesday night. He's Texas great, and the biggest of all, he's the Texas Terminator. Seen in Lions Pride Sports and Haley Pro Wrestling. Jay Alexander is live to talk it up with your boy Ty Asbury, and we're going to talk about where he expects to be a Terminator next in pro wrestling. Check out this episode, as always.
The Ropes Media. Tyrod Asbury. Yeah. Tyrod Asbury. Yeah. Every chance you get to hear us, you clear us. It's the time on the radio. My opinion's my opinion.
Yo, what is up, everybody? It's Wednesday night. You know what's going down. Of course, it is Off the Top Rope. I'm your boy Ty Asbury, live as live can be. As always, bring you the best podcast that I possibly can. I want to say this before I get this party jumping. If any wrestler wants to take, a stand and say that they're a Terminator, I think you may want to meet my guest in the ring and kind of, reconsider that, because my live guest, like I said, he'll tear you up and break you down. Of course, he's the current Laredo Wrestling Alliance Legacy Champion and the current Advanced Pro Wrestling, of course, heavyweight champion. He is the Texas Terminator. Jay Alexander is here. My man, what is up?
Not a whole lot, Ty. Hey, brother. Hell of an intro, man. I greatly appreciate that.
Man, with somebody like yourself, your caliber, man, you deserve the best intro that you can get, man. And first and foremost, man, you got 2 titles on your shoulder, man. And like I said, man, you about to run out of room. You got to get another house, man, win all these titles, man.
No, I'm just kidding. Those aren't mine. Hopefully one day, but these right here are. So,
Jay, I want to say first and foremost that when I did my research and I got the show together and I see what you're doing in wrestling, man, I'm gonna give you first, to jump off the show, round of applause, man. Big things, man, and you've really doing a lot in wrestling, man. And I can tell by you're really passionate about what you do, man. And when you look at both belts, how you've gotten this far in wrestling, do you pinch yourself and say, "Damn, I'm doing this"? How does it hit you, or you don't think about it, you just keep on going?
Man, I'll tell you, just kind of to put it briefly, the belts really don't tell the story. If I'm being honest, the belts are a great, accolade, a great accomplishment. But ultimately, man, it's the videos of the fans that I get, which is kind of funny to say. In the spirit of kayfabe, man, I'm a bad guy generally, so I should say F them fans, But honestly, those are kind of the moments where it's like, wow, man, I'll do an entrance or something, I'll hit my muscle pose or what have you, and there's some kid that's in the background who's flexing with me, or it's moments like that. It's the fans, man, that interact and make signs, knowing that I'll probably tear them up, but they'll still make their signs, and no matter how evil or mean I can be, there's always still some of those that they get giddy in their seats. They love the heels, man. I don't know. Those are the moments that you pinch yourself and like, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, Jay, being I'm gonna pick your brain, because, like I said, all the great ones like yourself, I got to pick your brain and ask you, being a heel and doing the heel thing, did it come natural to you? Because I mean, anybody can be mean, but in wrestling, it's an art to pull it off. So when you was like, man, the fans that get on my nerves, I don't need them, I'm just gonna do the heel thing. How was it for you? Because it's something I think, does it take practice? How was it for the Terminator, to be the Terminator towards the fans?
So the Terminator gimmick was actually a moniker that was given to me. I was the purveyor of punishment at first. That was out of my mind. But Texas Terminator was newer, and I didn't really start kind of acting on it until I was supposed to have sort of a gimmick, kind of a gimmick change, so to speak. When I first came in, when you start learning the ropes of wrestling, I'd say this is kind of an ode to reality of wrestling. When you come in reality of wrestling, generally the idea is they're going to take a look at you. Like for me, I came in, good size, pretty muscular. So automatically, okay, you're going to have, more of a baby, good guy type vibe to you. So we're gonna, push you as that. And then it kind of just started to where, hey, you're picking things up. We want to get you on the show and introduce you. So they the whole premise of wrestling is to hide your weaknesses and push your strengths. And so in order to do that, they kind of have to feel you out and get you in front of a crowd. And so for me, they put me in a group called the Renegades of Wrestling, and that was predominantly just a bunch of young bloods on the block looking to make a name for themselves, and they were bad guys. And so from there, it was just kind of, hey, pick how you. We're kind of naturally, organically see how you come out of this and turn out, and it honestly came pretty naturally to me. I don't know what it was. I've always had like a mean streak or a tenacity and aggressiveness to me, even from day one. I got a brother that's 10 years older. And he knew how to push my buttons and bully me around. So that kind of gave me an edge very young, to where I come up now. I don't care if you're signed to MLW, AEW, WWE. I don't care if you're 40 or if you're 14. If you step in the ring with me, I've got this edge about me, and I'm going to tear your head off. And so to answer your question, it more so came easier to me, just to kind of you see a fan or what have you, and it's just what? I'm better than you, and you know it. It was just, it's just organic. It was just natural for me.
Yeah, Jay, you said it just came natural for you, but I think the thing you did best is like you studied your craft, and here you are. And I could tell definitely by you that I'm sure you watch tape all the time, and you watch yourself, you watch others before you, and you got to look at it like when you're doing your thing, man. They're gonna be looking at you in the future, saying, "Man, I want to do what Jay did." He has some badass heel work. So I would think, and I'm going to ask you if this is true. Do you believe that? You never know what's going to happen in wrestling because the legacy you leave, an aspiring wrestler may pick up on that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that I think that you're doing a great job at. And, Jay, this is your first time here on the room, so I want to ask you this, of course. Now, fans worldwide, they know who you are. After tonight, they're going to be, of course, saying, you may get more fans, like I said. But
I sure hope so.
Why must new fans check you out to be convinced that there is only one Texas Terminator? Tell these new fans to get a ticket and check out Jay Alexander.
Man, I'll tell you what, and I think that's the beauty of pro wrestling is just finding your niche, man, finding different ways to stand out. The thing that I kind of have, I'd say it's a chip on my shoulder, but it's honestly a boulder. I'm not, the most massive guy in the world. To become quite honest, from a professional athlete standpoint, I'm actually very undersized. And I would say it's a chip, but it's a boulder. I think because of that, I've always, from day one, been underappreciated, undervalued, and kind of dismissed, if I'm being honest. And like I said, that kind of coupled with having that older brother with that chip on my shoulder, it's one of those where, like, I don't knock on the door, I blow it off the hinges, to where it's not just, oh, hey, someone's knocking. It's, what was that? You get that, like, holy, like, you get the shock and awe, like. And why I would say to check out Jay Alexander is, there's a bunch of big, strong boys, but hey, this is a shoot brother, right? I work myself in the shoots, man. There is no like, hey, go ahead and post for me on this body slam, or, I'll do a Jeff Hardy swanton, whisper in the wind, and then turn right around and scoop it over my shoulders like Braun Strowman and heave you out into the crowd. And it's funny because you see me, and I'm athletic, I'm fit, I'm strong. But you really don't get the full, immersive, like, holy crap, until you see it in person. When I first started training, they would get upset with me. They're like, dude, you can't do everything for your opponent. This is a show, right? It's give and take. We're entertaining. Me and my opponent are working together to execute these moves and entertain. But a lot of it for me, I did by myself. A lot of it for me is I would scoop people up, and it's funny, we do a fantasy camp, just to kind of wrap this up real quick. We had to, one of the things of the fantasy camp is you take a body slam. And so I'm scooping these kids up and I'm tossing them. And this one kid comes up to me and goes, they don't know how to post and such. And we're telling them, but like, it's different than doing it. And like, sure, you can get me. I'm like, brother, whether or not you post or not, I'm going to get you up. And this dude, he's a big dude. And so sure enough, Booker, give him this runner, Jay, scoop him right up, set him right down. He gets up like, whoa. And I tap him on the head and I say, appreciate you. You're going to go up. So.
But Jay, I like what you say you did a fantasy camp helping out fans. Just give them the body slam to give them that taste what it's like in the ring. Mm-hmm. And it to me, I like that you being the great dude that you are, giving back to the community. That's kind of giving back to the wrestling community, saying, hey, I'll slam you, but I'm letting you know that if you want to do this is what you're getting into. So like
it's a very and that's the thing in the cardio drills and the slams and stuff, it's a very minute taste. of what we do, man. And it's you have to be both, everyone really, not just book, but everyone says it in general. Like you have to love this business. You have to be passionate about it because, man, I'll tell you what, it is pure entertainment, but this mess hurts. So you get a very small taste of, whether it's the fantasy camps. We haven't done any kids camps at Rose since I've been there, but I know with the fantasy camps, it's always a joy of mine to get out there and really help, show these young men and women, like, this is the cardio drills we do, this is the warm-ups we do, and the warm-ups alone. We have a lot of people in the warm-ups alone say, holy crap, like, and just in the warm-ups, this is just squats and push-ups and crunches and just to kind of get the body warm. And they're like, man, I don't know about this. And I'm like, wrestling is not just, I'm a big character and I can do cool things. There is a lot that goes into it, and that's what the beauty of the fantasy camp is, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
Well, Jay, not only that, like I said, it's a tough business because, like I said, the fact that before we came on live, like I said, you got a family. I mean, you're training. I mean, your father. It's hard to like. That's one thing I admire about what you wrestlers do. It's like you got to prioritize family training. It's like it's just. Is there times where it's just like you just go like, man, like
all the time. I've said it on numerous occasions. It's funny because I've only been doing this a collective of 3 years, and so you say that, and a lot of guys that are 7+ years, 10 years, they're like, "Oh, you're just a baby," and it's like, "Yeah, maybe," but it's like, man, at 3 years already, just as a whole, it's like there's days where you drive home from these shows, and the crowd was amazing. It was a good payday, sold a lot of merch, so ultimately, altogether, unless you're signed, you're really not getting much in pay. Let's just be honest. Obviously, grateful for what you do make, because back in the day, it was the hot dog and a handshake and hey, appreciate you, and you're driving across country. But now, they actually compensate, fairly decent. But ultimately, you'll be driving home at times and your body's sore. Great night, and you're just like, man, I'm so appreciative, I'm so thankful for this opportunity, and just this is the life, man. I love it. And there's other moments you're like, what? You got busted up. You lost. You didn't get the championship. The fans were kind of, it was kind of a dead crowd. Just one of those nights where it just didn't go according to plan, and you're driving home, and you're like, what is the point? It's a however long drive, and you're like, what is the point in this? Like, why am I doing this to myself?
But but Jay, have you ever? I don't think it's you because you love the business, but have you ever done it yourself, or have you ever been traveling with a wrestler where they said to you, or you may think to yourself, I don't know if I can do this with the travel from A all the way to B. Like, have you ever experienced that for yourself or another talent?
I'm not going to put words in the mouths of other cats, man. Like, I'll just speak for myself, but I know for me personally, because I also kind of march the beat of my own drum. I travel more so myself. I've been very blessed and gifted, fortunate to at times where guys have to drive cross country. I get to fly. Yeah. And I'm in a better financial situation than most. I'm in a better circumstance than most. So I'm just extremely blessed and fortunate for that opportunity alone. But I speaking for myself solely, man. Yeah, I say it all the time, like, because ultimately, and this is no disrespect to any one individual promoter or booker, but a lot of the time, brother, what people don't understand is wrestling is this big plate of cow manure, right? And the booker or promoter is giving you this plate of cow manure and saying, hey, brother, you got a whole pantry of cinnamon graham crackers and chocolate chips and sprinkles and confetti cake, and doctor this cow manure up and serve it to the people and make it edible. And you're just kind of like, no matter what I put on this cow manure, people might say, it was good. Sometimes it's still cow manure. And there's been plenty of times, I'm not going to call it any specific names, but there's been plenty of times where I'll get the script or I'll get briefed on what I'm supposed to do or what the promoter booker's looking for. And I'm just like, this sucks.
Yeah.
I came up and, Booker trained us at Reality Wrestling. This is a fight. This is a competition. This is entertainment. But at the end of the day, like, I'm trying to whoop up on my opponent. I'm trying to, there needs to be a story that needs to be told. There needs to be some sort of continuity in what we're doing. And you'll find a lot of time, this is the independence as a whole. There's a lot of times when there's no continuity whatsoever. And again, it kind of goes hand in hand with one of those moments, depending on what the night brings, where it's, man, this is awesome, right? Like, whether the continuity was there or not, man, we made it work. And we told a really good story where, man, I don't know how I'm supposed to do this. Like, we did the best we could, but crap, it just didn't work. And you live to fight another day. You either, have your hand in, heads, or you have your hands above your heads thinking, it just depends on the night, if I'm being honest.
Sometimes it seems like, in wrestling too, Jay, it's like, I think it seems like a wrestling, you know, tomorrow's going to be here, but you could try something. If it don't work, tomorrow will always be here. Like, if, you know, a move or a promo, like, that kind of stunk. But I believe there's always tomorrow that, you know, brush yourself off and do it
And that's
again.
what I'm
You know,
learning. That's what I'm learning now. I would say, honestly, I'm glad that you kind of touched on that because that's where I'm at now. Since day one, man, I've always been not a perfectionist, but I've always had very high standards on everything in my life. Whether it was, you know, like my school or college, you know, high school or college, my grades, I didn't just date anybody, right? My girlfriend was a direct representation of me. How I acted in society and public, you know, was a representation of my parents. So I had very high standards from a very young age, and I will never apologize for that, even if it rubs people the wrong way. Sorry, not to say that, but um, that's something I'm learning now. You know, I can't speak highly on this individual. Ryan Davidson is one of my mentors. I would say very close friend, and honestly, if I didn't have him in my life, I probably wouldn't even be doing this right now. I probably would have called it quits a year or two in, honestly. More so than wrestling, but just life, just understanding that, hey man, you know, I'm big in the gym, right? So he's like, you want bigger biceps. You shouldn't go in the gym and do, you know, one day's worth of bicep curls, and you know, all of a sudden you got Hulk Hogan 24, you know, 26-inch pythons, or you know, why aren't you growing? I'm like, well, it takes time. He goes, it's one of those moments where it's like light bulb,
yeah.
and you just kind of chuckle to yourself, and you're like, wow, it's that simple. And he's one of those guys. It just takes time. He's a seasoned vet, been doing this 16 or 18 years, and man, he's one of the biggest blessings, not just in my life, but professionally, and not just professionally, but my life. I can't speak highly enough of him. We can do a whole podcast and some of it just on him. But I'll digress there. But that's something that I'm learning right now. It's just day by day. Just take it day by day. Wins and losses day by day. It doesn't defeat the person. Doesn't make
You
the
know, Jay,
person.
yeah, it did. You know, Jay, you've taken it day by day, putting in the work. People who support you and love you. Like I said, you got the friends, you got the connections, everything. And speaking of people who love you and helped you get to, you know, I can say in wrestling, it's kind of like wrestling exposure. I'm gonna show you this clip. I'm sure you'll probably laugh at this. I'm sure you recognize this because you talked about Booker T quite a lot. One of your
Yeah.
mentors. Let's go to this clip right here.
Booker, tell me how you feel about the Buffalo Bills.
I mean, come on, man. Josh Allen set franchise records. MVP candidate. Stephon Diggs, game changer. The defense, they're going to be running around the field making plays. Mahomes, you in trouble, dog. Not since 1993, dog. AFC Championship. AFC Championship.
Now the clip I showed you there.
That hair is atrocious, man. Oh, that's the first thing I noticed because that was like COVID times coming in, going out of COVID, and just save a quick buck. And then I don't think my barber was cutting, so like I was doing it myself, and I just to go on national TV on Fox Sports and do that was just that's the first thing I noticed is that hair. But no, man, that's
good exposure, awesome. Man. I was proud of you when I saw it. That's why I was proud. I was like, I got to show this to the world, to him on the show, because that promoters will see that because, man, he's done like Fox stuff. That was a big exposure for you, man.
I've done Fox, man. I've done. I did a commercial for Ron Carter's League City location. They dropped their new Hellcat. I got to play with a brand new Challenger Hellcat, and so I did their commercial that ran here locally for Ron Carter League City. I was very blessed to do that. Shout out to Clear Life Media, Kurt and Gardy, y'all are awesome, man. Appreciate the opportunity to do that. But it's just stuff like that, man. It's a kind of goes back to your first questions of pinch yourself moments. That's one of those where like in the grand scheme, like I'm such a workhorse. And I just what's the next thing, and then you get caught up in like doing all the stuff that you don't get a chance to really look back and be like, wow, I did do that. That's cool, man. That's freaking awesome. Or I had guys actually go to the gym and they're like, hey, you were in that AFC Championship commercial, right? And I was just like, that was kind of surreal, man. That I had I know I don't want to backtrack, but like a moment I said the fans kind of dawned on me. I want to speak on it before we move on. But I was actually with the family at this go-kart skating place, a Bay Area Raceway, I think is what it's called. And I actually had a man approach me. I'm at the counter trying to redeem my points, and he's like, hey, can we get a picture? And I'm just like, excuse me? Like, what? Like, and he's like, I was so taken aback. I'm like, you want a picture? Why? Like, sorry, hold on, buddy. And he's like, you're Jay Alexander, right? And I go, oh, shoot. And I was like, yeah, what's it to you? Like, you got to snap back. Like, you just kind of, it's the most awkward thing. But I'm like, oh, yeah, why does it matter? Like go in the kayfabe moment, and oh, well, my daughters are really huge fans of reality wrestling, and they really, they were kind of nervous to come ask you, so I told them I'd come, see if you could get a picture with us, and I was like, man, I'll charge $20. And he pulls his wallet. I'm like, brother, put the wallet away. Come on, let's get the picture. But no, it was one of those moments where it's like, wow, man, that's wow. So just kind of pinch yourself moments there too. So yeah, that's really cool, man. I appreciate that.
Jay, you did the one thing that you, and I'm sure wrestlers still do, but we know MJF does it, but you being a heel, the guy asks you, yo, you're Jay Alexander, and you know, can I get a picture? And you're like, what's it to you? Nah, $20.
Yeah,
You did the one thing that people don't do anymore, and it's thrown in the river and going. You kept the kayfabe going. I love it. Like, I love it.
It really all depends too, man, on if I'm being honest. And I've had, I've been very blessed to be surrounded by great people, great fans, great, coworkers, fellow workers that, it's never really gotten to a point where I really had to like defend myself because, this whole cancel culture is just, it's wild at times. And so I've been very blessed that I haven't said that someone's gotten attitude back or, legitimately tried to like come at me or fight me or what have you. And then in that moment, it's just like, brother, like if you, I'm sorry, like I'm big in this business and I got a lot of respect for it. If you can't, take it in stride and, let slide off your back and then you don't need the picture anyway. So it's really kind of cool that I can have that moment where it's like, oh yeah, well, how about you catch street? I'm busy. What's up? And, and they're still like, oh, no. I'm like, nah, brother, it's all good, man. So it's okay. It's cool that I've gotten that opportunity and it's not been the other way around. I think it's very easy to, oh, you anyway. And it's like, I'm like, all right, well, hey, this could have been $1 million picture out. You would have brought to sign it later and you would have $1 million. But, go ahead and, keep working the 9 to 5. That's not getting you anywhere. I can spit. Hey, give me a mic. I can spit with the best of them. But no, it's fun, man. It's pinch yourself. It's a blessing for sure.
It is a blessing. I got to give credit to, Laredo, Wrestling Alliance, of course. And of course, I'm talking about, as always, Advanced Pro Wrestling, because their champion is live on the ropes tonight. Jay Alexander, like I said, he has the belts right there with him. Like I said, this guy's doing big things. I'm pinching myself because he's on the ropes. Everybody watching the show, if you want to ask him a comment, like a question, I'll comment, whatever. I'll bring it on the air and I'll read it to Jay because, like I said, Jay will definitely hook you up and give you the truth about how it's going down. So, like I said, Jay Alexander is on the ropes tonight. He is, of course, the Texas Terminator on the ropes tonight. Now, Jay, I definitely want to ask you, of course, I saw this. I was like, man, promoters, get this guy in because your resume is like biz out. I got to show it because this is nice, man. Like I said, I was like, damn, boy. Like I said, like I said, you got champions. Like I said, man, schooling, bodybuilder, train with Booker T. I'm like, damn, homeboy. Like Jay, I just love it, man. So I wanted to just like show that to promoters. Like if they want to book you, promoters, boom. This is all you need to get Jay in your ring. Sign this guy, have him come to one of your shows. So Jay, I wanted to share that for the promoters for you tonight here on the show, man.
I greatly appreciate that, brother. Man, I'll tell you what, you're by far my favorite host so far, man. You got your stuff aligned and ready to go, man. I appreciate that.
Like I said, man, I try to take care of all my guests on the roast. But Jay, I think that me being a fan sitting on the outside, I'm not on the inside, but seeing how you've progressed and see what you've done, I think it takes a teacher to help out the student. And you talked about him a lot. He's a Hall of Famer. I love him. We just saw him in the Buffalo Bills thing. You and Booker T, man. And before I get to Booker T, I want to ask you, pretty much this journey right now, doing your wrestling, 3 years you've been doing your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you, along this way, what have you taught, like, yourself? Because people can teach you wrestling, but there's some things you got to teach within yourself. Now, for Jay Alexander, what have you taught within yourself, to be where you're at in the great business of wrestling?
Man, it's take the good with the bad and then the bad with the good. A loss or, a bad match or a bad night doesn't, doesn't break you. And, a championship, a good match, it doesn't make you. A lot of it, man, has come down to really teaching myself patience and understanding, man. This business really in the grand scheme doesn't make any sense. And if I tried to explain it to you, I don't think there's any applicable amount of time in the universe for me to, because it is such a whirlwind. It's unfair. It's political. It can be harmful at times. And that's the biggest thing. We preach on physical wellness to do this in the ring. Man, I'll tell you what, and I put this towards life more than anything, is you can be the most peak of physical specimens, man, but if you don't have the mental or the spiritual fortitude to withstand what this business brings you, brother, or sister,
Yeah.
I'll pray for you, because ultimately that's what it is, man. It takes a toll. I would say more so on your mental and your spiritual than it does your physical. It's just learning to take the good with the bad and the bad with the good, and live to fight, another day. And I really want to take this time, man. I was thinking about this earlier. I kind of figured, it's kind of common understanding that, common knowledge that when you're reality wrestling trained, you're going to get asked about book. I really want to. I'll get to book, but I really want to highlight some of the guys, and even girls that have really left their mark on me, whether it was major or minor, and really has crafted who Jay Alexander is, because everyone knows the name on the side of the building, but man, there's so many pivotal people. Oh my gosh, arguably pivotal people, man, more so than Book, really, that has played, that are boots on the ground, in the locker rooms with me, facing me, on my tag team, what have you, that are keeping me in the right direction. And again, I'm an ode to Ryan Davidson again. I can't speak highly enough about him. Such a godsend to the world, let alone professional wrestling. He's been day one. Gino Medina was there, a former MLW star, reality wrestling, one of the faces on the Mount Rushmores of reality wrestling. One of the best in-ring performers, and really has helped steered me in the right direction very early on. He actually, I think, is in Florida now. He's down there with TJ and Natalia in the dungeon primarily, but he's all over the nation, really doing his thing. Will Alday, another reality wrestling superstar who, honestly, and all these guys I'm naming, by the way, it's a travesty that they aren't already signed or haven't signed. I mean, with the exception of Gino, but Gino still should be somewhere. But all these names, just put them under Jay Alexander. I'm gonna give you a list, guys. Get a pen and paper and write these names down. If you've never heard of them, you're doing yourself a disservice. Brian Davidson, Gino Medina, Will Alday. Was one of the guys that actually broke me into the business. He was actually my debut 15-minute main event for the Texas title. Helped kind of guide me throughout that match, and has been one of the biggest factors in my career in helping guide me. Who else? Man, Charles Brendan Steen. He's no longer with reality wrestling. He played an integral part. Aiden Cristiano, who's currently training the guys and girls there. Mixes in some lucha with his stuff, which is always, anytime you can get some lucha or some Japanese strong style in there with American wrestling, man, to be well versed is a whole nother level. And he brings it. One of the most aggressive heels too that we have in the business, not just the reality wrestling, but the business. Rachel Rose is a superstar through and through. She's nationwide. She holds belts all over the United States. Obviously, we know Roxy, who's now Roxanne Perez. I got to do some drills with her, and it was funny. It was actually strikes when I was first learning forearms. And I'm this big, stocky, broad dude, and I've got to throw these forearms on this big little girl, and I'm throwing. I'm like, "Are you okay?" And Gino's like, "Bro, she's fine." I'm like, "No, are you sure?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm good." And just, beating the tar out of her, and she's just, just eating it. And she's like, "Yeah, it's fine." And it's like, man, that's just, it's funny, man. It's hilarious. Now she's doing her thing in NXT, and more power to her. Proud of her and happy for her. Those are just some of the few names, man. And Chris Russo, gosh, got me my start in my beginner days, with everything from rolls to introductory slams. Chris Russo, formerly down at FCW before FCW became NXT, got to rub elbows with some lowly names like Roman Reigns and Charlotte Flair and what have you. So I think he probably knows a thing or two. So he got me started in my beginner days, and now he does a lot more announcing, and he does some training, but he's kind of all over the United States as well, traveling, doing announcing, commentating, and such. But man, I'm telling you, like, aside from Book, really, which Book is Book, right? These men and women, dude, like, and I'm probably missing X amount, but you know who you are. I've told you, I'm very expressive in this business about, hey man, like I can't thank you enough for whether it's the matches that I've had or the individuals who have really helped me learn a thing or two. I'm always very transparent, forthcoming, and just open about what that meant to me. Because business aside, brother, we only have one life to live, and in this day and age, it's hard, and life is hard, and it just gets harder. And I've always tried to at least be some sort of positive light. I know for some people it makes them, dude, oh, if you're a positive light, all you do is complain. to my homeboys, man, that hear me complain as much as I do. God bless you. You have a special place in heaven. But no, I'm really big on acknowledging those who really helped pave the way, and the utmost to the king himself, Booker. Booker's interesting. Booker's not one to really sit you down and give you a step by step, right? Booker, if you kind of have to get acclimated and used to Booker because he's kind of a traditional, like, excuse me, with respect, but old head. He comes from that day and age, man, where you didn't slap the leg right on kicks, you didn't, do these stupid little gimmick things that people do now in certain things, and he hates it. He chews you up in a heartbeat. But there's a lot of little sayings and little tidbits, right? Like, have your playbook, know your playbook as a heel, right? So what's certain things that I can do as a heel to put the baby back on top? If I'm beating the tar when the crowd's getting low, right? I need the crowd to come back up, whether it's I say something to them, hey, do this, whatever, so I can pop you, so the crowd can boo if that was cheap, that was crappy, or hey, give me a fire up, whatever. Hey, when I'm, I'll tell the ref, hey, da 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 da. Just certain nodes in my playbook. Really got to crack it open and say, hey, give me a back elbow, or give me a boot, watch the back elbow. So I come running in, pop, crowd's up, here he comes, back elbow, set him back down, crowd's back, dang, F you, whatever. Just know your playbook, right? But people are gonna be like, what does that even mean if he just says that? But like, when you get acclimated to him and know how his verbiage is, okay, all right, I got you. Little things, right? I'll get in the moments. I'm really bad about, like, at times we have a script to follow, but I'm in the moment, and so maybe I have a brain fart on the moment of, because I'm too busy, like, living in the moment. It's like, oh crap, as opposed to other times where maybe I'm remembering the script, but I'm a little bit more robotic, right, and not so much in the moment. So you can tell if he's thinking about stuff, right? So Book will watch our sequences or watch my 5-minute matches or something and be like, just the little things. Just the little things, and for most people, they're like, just the little things. Well, but what does that mean? And it's like, and I'll tell them, like, I got it. I already know. I messed up a sequence, and I know exactly what it was. And the guy in the ring was like, what happened? I'm like, just keep going. So we're doing it, boom, boom, boom. Here we are, boom, gets the pin, rolls him off. And I come up, and I'm looking, I come up to Book. I'm like, give it to me. I know it's coming. And just everything he said, I'm like, I'm right ahead of you, on top. And he goes, oh, Jay, you should have given the boot there. And I was like, with respect, Book, I looked at my partner. I was like, that's what I called to you. It's all good. It's on me. You just, I've been an athlete my entire life. Sometimes you just take the chewing. You just take the chewing, even though like I know exactly where he's coming from, and I did call that. You just, yep, I got you, sir. And then just you put on yourself, man, to do a better job relaying that information. Maybe it was on you, your communication. Maybe you could have said it earlier. Maybe you could have said it louder. He didn't hear you. It's just learning day by day, little things.
But Jay, everything you said, like giving back to the people who've helped you, all the people you name, including Booker T. But the one thing that really struck in my mind, you said that there's great talent out there who haven't got signed yet or still training, busting their ass. And you really sent a message tonight here on the show, because there's probably a wrestler out there right now walking on the street just doing this thing and saying, how come I can't get signed? But hopefully when he watches this show, he or she, they watch this show and they see what Jay Alexander said, they can do it.
It's, to your point, and I'll just say this and I'll be done with it. I've always believed, just from day one, man, if you just work your ass off, if you're truly putting in the time and the effort and the work, right? I mean, truly doing it, okay? You know what you're sacrificing, you know what you're giving up, you know what you're missing. If you're truly putting in the work, right, and you're manifest, like for me, man, I used to do cardio in the morning, put my towel over my head, and while I'm doing the Stairmaster on level 20, running up the stairs, I'd be bawling. Not because it was hard, not because I was tired, but because in my head I would close my eyes and it was a HD 4K movie, right, of my future, right? There was no like, oh man, I'm envisioning it might happen. No, I might as well have been a fortune teller, and this was the crystal ball. My brain is a literal crystal ball. And I am seeing myself on Monday Night Raw, on Friday Night SmackDown, on Impact. I'm seeing myself on Wednesday Night, Dynamite, in AEW. I am going balls to the wall, 100 miles an hour, and I will not be denied. And if you put forth that effort, right, like you're in the gym, you're training, you're doing your rolls, you're taking your bumps, you're going to the matches, you're doing everything in your power to make yourself marketable. If you're going out on all fronts and you're manifesting this mentally and spiritually, if you make it so much so the universe cannot deny you, you will not be. And I think that's the problem is you start letting in those doubts and you start thinking, oh man, I don't know, maybe. What if the universe is going to pick up on that? Because whether it's you believe in God, Allah, the universe, science, nothing, whatever, right? You are entitled to believe in whatever you wish to believe in. Whatever you place your belief in, it better be 150 million%, because if it is, you will get it. You will not be denied. If you truly believe that, you will attain it. End of story. End of story. It might take you a lifetime. It took AJ Styles, what, 20 years, 20 some odd years or some odd to get to WWE. He was a superstar before it. He didn't need WWE, right? Yep. But the point I'm trying to make is he believed in his heart that he was going to be the biggest, the best, the baddest. Say what you wish, but he's there. That's all it is, man. It's that simple. It really is that simple. But you'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. It takes the AJ Styles and the Jay Alexanders to do what you want to do, whether it's outside of wrestling, whatever. Like I said, just keep fighting, and you'll see that sunshine on the other side of the bridge. And Jay, you know, man, you like I said, you got 2 titles you got to hold up, man. You know, it's bad enough you gotta defend 1 title, but dude, this clip is pretty much going to hit the heart what I'm talking about, man. Like I said, both titles you got. How is there like a difference in title defenses in these 2 great promotions? I mean, one may be different than the other, or 2 title defenses or 2 title defenses.
I'm sorry, repeat that one more time.
Like for you defending both your titles and both Laredo and of course Total Advanced Pro Wrestling, is there a difference between the 2 title defenses, or they're the same? Title defenses, they're the same.
I'll tell you right now, it doesn't matter if it's a one-on-one, if it's in a ring, if it's in a MMA cage, if it's in the desert with just on the ground. Doesn't matter if it's a title. Doesn't matter if it's non-title. Doesn't matter if I'm defending it in a 30-man, over the top Royal Rumble or what have you. Everyone and anyone, and this is again working myself into a shoot. I'll tear the head off anybody. There's a clip if you go look on my Instagram where I'm facing Khan. Right, and I'm very big on this. Shane Taylor, right? I'm in that ring, and names, titles, contracts. When the bell rings, and that's in that squared circle between those ropes, and you go back and you can hold me to this. You go back and look in that match with Khan. Khan's the baby face, right? But I take the center of the ring, and you notice Kirby Carry-On. Shout out to Kirby, great dude, even better commentator. He's our historian at Reality Wrestling. He noticed that. He said, if you notice, it doesn't matter who's in the ring with Jay. Jay takes the middle of the ring and he dares his opposition to step to him. And that's a shoot. I don't give a rat's ass. If you're signed, if you're 8 feet tall, because I faced a 7-footer, picked him up from the ground and slammed him like he was the child. I don't care if you're 7 feet tall, if you're 3 foot tall, if you've got a championship, if you don't have a championship. If you're signed to WWE, if you're signed to AEW, if you're signed to Impact. I don't give a rat's ass. You are in my house and you will earn this victory. You will earn what this crowd is about to see. You will earn every bit of it. And that's what happened. Me and Colin did the shoulder tackles, and it was all right, because you get that. That's a shoot. Even though we're working together here, you're going to see how someone throws their stuff. From the minute you lock up, right, you're going to see who's going to give what, who's going to take what, and how this is going to go down. It can be a hard night, it can be an easy night. I'm prepared for both. And that's not a like, oh, I'm a big badass. That's the way I was raised from day one. I know the value of $1. If we're going to make money tonight, you're going to earn it.
Earn it. That's right. Terminator style. That's right.
Terminator style. And that's
Texas Terminator style, no doubt.
Probably why I was dubbed the Texas Terminator, man. I just did my thing, and shout out to Devin Storm, who was with APW, but is now he does his own thing with Rampage Wrestling. But he's the one that dubbed it the Texas Terminator. I said, we're using that. So I ran with it.
Now, Jay, this is your first time on the top rope, and when you come on the ropes the first time, I gotta try to stump you. But when I made this clip for you, I was like, man, I think he's gonna love this. I think it'd be a bad. I think this match I'll be front row for this ever happen. So, you ready for the next segment?
Fire, let's go. I'm always ready.
Damn, Ty. That's good.
The clip is, of course. There's something that's telling me that this will be a must-see matchup. Jay Alexander versus AEW's Pac. 2 styles, 2 badasses. They don't give a shit who they got to beat up. Now, Jay, the question for you, create a Texas style gimmick match that you feel would be a hit between you two great wrestlers?
The first one that comes to mind is a 30-minute Iron Man.
Ooh, you and Pac. Oh yeah.
I think that'd be a good one. The next one that comes to mind, he dropped the Atlantic Championship to Cassidy, right?
Yeah.
So if he still had it, let's do a 2 out of 3 falls for the Atlantic Championship.
Ooh.
I think that would be a good one too.
I think you and him to go like an hour. You and him.
I don't think, and that's why I think so many people are like, oh, dude, I have to do a last man standing or a Texas bull rope, man. There doesn't need to be. Certain guys just don't need weapons. That's why I love, what Triple H is doing with Brock and Bobby right now. They don't need titles, man. Let them tear their heads off. They're two just behemoth of men. Just let them have at it, And I think that's what it would be with me and Pac. And I get that all the time. It's so funny. I get the mix between I think Seth Rollins, John Cena, Sami Callihan, and Pac. Pac is obviously the go-to, but I've gotten the son of such and such, which, hey, if that's the case, Seth Rollins, John Cena, Sami Callihan, and Pac, man, they're all, amazing what they do, world champions, and look like $1 million. So I'll take it any day of the week. But Pac would be, Iron Man, 30-minute Iron Man, or an hour. I'd love to do that. I think it would just be, just banger after banger after banger, right? As Sheamus says.
That'd be special. That'd be special. That'd be such a good match. But like him, he would have to go to you though. I mean, like I said, either reality or wrestling. He'd have to come to your home court. So that'd be, dude.
Hey, Tony, bring that ass, boy. Give me talk on AEW. What's up? You ain't got it.
Now, Jay, like I said, as we wrap up this awesome episode of Off the Top Rope, like I said, man, just talking to you, having you on the show, I got goosebumps because the most important thing, you're a humble guy. You love your craft, man, and you are a good dude. And that's, I think, what wrestling is missing. You always need a good guy in wrestling to just keep that good vibe going. Now, you, like I said, you being a double champion, you got a busy schedule coming up. So, man, I want you to slam and promote the hell out what you got coming up. Because this Saturday, man, Justified. This Saturday.
Yes, and I think so. Justified, yes, Justified at Palais Pro Wrestling, which they're always a stat. They always have stat cards. They're bi-monthly. Dynamite shows every single time they put it on. The owner's Kyle Hessler. He's another great dude. You want to talk about guys that professional wrestling needs? They need more Kyle Hesslers, man. God-fearing, amazing dude. The following week, yep, you got it right there. Fall Fury at Reality of Wrestling. It's going to be down in Texas City. Justified, I apologize. This Saturday is going to be in Arlington, Texas, off I-20. Grace Prep. Doors at 6. Bell time 7. I will go head-to-head with Corey O'Neill. Rumor has it he's going to have his Chili Boys there, so I'm eager to see if they want to. Anytime I hear like, oh, he's going to have some friends at ringside, whether he's a good guy or a bad guy, I'm always keeping my eyes peeled. So, did hear some rumblings about another champion in his own right making an appearance, but I'll keep that under wraps. We'll see if that pans out. I've heard he's got an itching to get in the ring with the Texas Terminator, and so I won't reveal any details on that, but we'll see if that actually comes to fruition because he won't commit. So we'll see. But Fall Fury, don't know who my opponent is. That'll be, I think, doors are 6 or 6:30, bell time 7, as it says there. Reality Wrestling down in Texas City World Gym Arena. I will be in Alvarado, Texas on the 19th, which is the following weekend for Advanced Pro Wrestling to defend my title. That opponent hasn't been named yet. No one wants to step up for that either. We've actually contacted 3 or 4 very well-known names, and they do not want to get in the ring with me. So that I'm intrigued by. I'd love to see who decides to step up. And then what's the following? I think that might be it for November, which I'm not mad about, brother. Honestly, I've taken some unnecessary shots to the neck and head, so I've been kind of dialing back my workload. Been in talks with some promotions, but health is wealth, so we're going to be smart about our decisions, right? And then December, when we get to December, if you follow me on that link out, that Tyron, you've been so gracious to post, and I genuinely appreciate that because that's my go-to, my main hub, that you can see everything is there. But I do want to also take the moment too, if we're talking about promotions, to shout out some of the guys. You said a lot more of wrestling needs stand-up guys. That's a majority, truthfully, of who I work for. I really don't work for just anybody, if I'm being honest, and I'm very upfront about that. I want to shout out, of course, Reality Wrestling, Booker. The unsung name is Kevin Bernhardt. If anybody knows Reality Wrestling or takes the time to look at reality wrestling, the guy that kind of I would honestly go on record to say is probably more important than Booker really is Kevin Bernhardt. Booker is the name is the face and the name, but Kevin keeps that thing running on all fronts in more ways than one. Kevin has done more for me than probably anyone in this business outside of Ryan. Ryan's coupled there with Kevin. Kevin Bernhardt, reality wrestling. Houston Carson with Lions Pride Sports, another stand-up guy that doesn't get enough recognition. Although Lions Pride Sports is picking up down in the Brazos Valley, Bryan College Station, I highly recommend workers hit up Houston. He's got a great product, and people give him his flowers. He's a great guy. Kyle Hessler, Pally Pro, another one, God-fearing man, calls me, texts me to check up on me just in life. Very grateful for him and the opportunity I've gotten to represent Pally Pro. It's another stacked card, stacked business stacked promotion that delivers every time. Dan Martinez with Laredo Wrestling Alliance. Got a phone with him actually this morning. Another great dude that always puts me in a great position. Cares deeply about his guys and girls that come through. Gives them the best opportunity to portray their craft. Dan Martinez, man, shout out to you, brother. I'm probably gonna slip the names on some guys. Rodney Mack is another one. Does some TSW. Former WWE superstar Rodney Mack. TSW Dog Pound Championship Wrestling down in San Antonio. TSW, I think, travels. I think there might be in Irving primarily, but another great dude, man. I could go on for hours, but man, shout out to you guys, man. You guys, phenomenal guys, run some phenomenal promotions, pay their talent, which is imperative. Take great care of them, listen to them, put them in great positions. So, been super blessed and super fortunate. I've really never honestly had met a person truthfully that I'm just like, man, everyone in this business that I've honestly had the fortunate blessing to meet, work with, or work for, has been spectacular. I've got nothing but great things to say. So very blessed, very fortunate overall in these 3 years, man. I've really had kind of the best career that I think you possibly can very early on. And I'm very grateful for that. Not complacent, much more work to be done, much greater things to accomplish. But that's going to be a good one. I highly recommend if you're in the area, Arlington, greater DFW area, Pally Pro, check that out. Justified. They're on Instagram, they're on Twitter, they're on Facebook. Pally Pro Wrestling, PALE. The LE is kind of weird, but I think you just type in the regular Pro Wrestling. Yeah, I mean they deliver every single month, bi-monthly though. But every time they run a show, it's on the money, man. And Kyle Hessler's great dude, runs a great promotion. Can't say enough. So come watch me beat the brakes off Corey O'Neill.
Pally Pro Wrestling this Saturday. The Terminator is coming to kick ass like he usually does, and everybody that Jay mentioned on tonight's show, I'm gonna give you a round of applause because Jay talked about a lot of great people. And Jay, like I said before we end this awesome episode tonight, from 1 to 10, would you ever come back on Off the Top Rope again with your boy Ty Asbury?
100. Bring it back. Let's go. Let's do it. 100.
Jay, I want to say first and foremost, man, like I said, stay healthy, be safe, God bless, man. I'm proud of you, man. Next time you come back on the show, I want to see you with 10 titles, man, because you are the man.
You know what? I'll do you one better. I'm hoping next time I come on, I can drop the news that I have a contract.
That's right.
Hey, you know what? We'll take the titles. We'll definitely take these bad boys any day of the week.
That's it. Put them up. There it is. Put them up. Laredo, of course, Wrestling Alliance, Legacy Champion, of course, and also Advanced Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion Jay Alexander was on Off the Top Rope tonight. He got the belts up. And Jay, always come back to the ropes again, my boy.
I appreciate you having me, Ty. Great show, brother. I greatly appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
This is your boy Ty Asbury. Give my man Jay Alexander a round of applause. As I always say, we're going to roll out of here. Love yourself, love God, love others. I'm your boy Ty Asbury. Have a great night. Everybody, stay blessed. We're out of here. Peace out.
The Ropes Media. Tyrod Asbury.